Hey, welcome to the Elu Cohen Research Channel. My name is Tim Wright, uh, and I have been recently studying, I guess not studying, but just reviewing the whole idea of Cain and Abel. Um, and I came up with some insights. I don't know if y'all have thought about this, but in Genesis, it says pretty much that Abel was a animal tending person, uh, and Cain was a land tending person. And I immediately found that this is a little unfair to give praise and recognition to someone who does animal nurturing, and then to give praise and recognition to someone who does land nurturing. And I thought, what on earth would make a brother want to kill his own brother? What on earth would make one person so mad that they would do this? And the key came to me from a book actually called The Key by Rune Odegaard. And what he says is that when you take on the Abel mindset, you're basically looking for a teacher to give you what in codependency literature is called external esteem, other esteem. And what it is you do something of your own will, you do it and it's free, like you're looking for your own result. But what happens is you're addicted to the external esteem. So you do this only in order to get other people to say to you, "Good job, way to go, you're awesome, you're an amazing person." And what this does is it creates a need to see the world that way. I thought that fits. And then I thought, what is it that makes murderers like Cain murder their brothers? And in this book, The Key, it says it again that Cain was the type that was addicted to external experiences of contrast to the internal peace, or internal, like, kind of narrative. You have to have an externally sharp contrast. So both of these individuals don't have gnosis. They're seeking the external to give them a sense of understanding, one by people, and the other by just having an internal sensational experience of that which comes to them from outside. I thought, this is really, really cool. And this is published, so I'm not like releasing any secrets uh, per se. Um, but one of the most interesting things about the story is that we tend to look at Cain and Abel the same way. And I don't think we should. I think it's comparing apples to oranges. Though they're both human beings, they both have been socially brought up to have different types of hierarchical value systems. So we can't use the same judgments on each person. And then I read a little bit further, and God in quotes, says to Cain, your brother's blood calls to me from the earth, which is very interesting. But that, what have you done? You killed your brother, and it's almost, what came to me was that Abel was seen with more human eyes than Cain was. And God, isn't that the truth? Like, almost in Cain's behavior, which could be argued was incited by Abel. Abel was like, "Look at how great I am. Look at how amazing I am. It comes to me so easily and freely." And though we know now through a book called Black Swan that success is not so much the individual's development of successful foundations, but they're kind of in the right place at the right time, and success happens, and then they take credit ignorantly. Well, what I'm here to say is that maybe failure is the same way. They're in the wrong place at the wrong time, and unfortunately, they take blame. So, success and failure has much more to do with the subjective narrative of the mask we put on, or the persona that we put on, telling ourselves, I'm successful, throwing identity narrative behind it because, I arrived in these circumstances. It's just as foolish for the trust fund baby to say they're successful because they were born to successful parents. Now, when you have a narrative behind this, an exclusionary narrative that says I'm successful and those others are not, we're not all playing by the same rules. So I thought, wouldn't it be cool to show like a social commentary on Cain and Abel? Not just the justice and murder and vengeance is mine, says the Lord, but to look at it as if, we're really not giving Cain a fair trial. His accusers, me, I'm not giving him a fair trial. I didn't look at the circumstances that went in behind it. Like, Abel was kind of a pain in the ass. He was like, look at me, I clean and muck the stalls and feed these animals, and they're kind of like a machine because life begets life. And, he had some pains and trials with animal cultivating, but not as much as like a harvesting, agriculturally sound farmer. Cain, he had seeds and he had to dig a lot and he had to weed a lot. And, for any plant, you have to make sure that it meets the proper season. And I don't know about the whole, Mediterranean plants and what would have been a plenty for him, but it probably took a little bit more work than mucking stalls, if it was even at that high of a production for Abel. And, also Cain would have had to know a little bit about astrology, and he would have had to understand the rhythms and the seasons and have quite an understanding rather than an emotional tie to these beings. So what I thought is Cain, or actually Abel, is the way we see the world with the eyes of empathy and love. And Cain is the way we see the world with cold-hearted law and justice. And I thought that would fit. That would fit because we're not putting on a set of standards that are universal. We are being biased. We are saying this one group of men, happen to be men, but they could be women too, are only seen with the eyes of love. And this other set of women and men are only seen with the eyes of justice and law. I thought, Cain saw himself in the eyes of love, and he was like, I can't pay this punishment. It's too harsh. I'm going to die. And, the Eternal was like, no one's going to kill you. I'll put a seal on you. And that makes it to where you're not going to die. No one's going to kill you. But you're going to be in a lot of pain. And you're going to have to deal with this world of law that you have put yourself in. And everybody's going to see you differently. So I thought, wow, that is such a cool little way to start looking at our human selves. It's like, do I see myself with love and law today, or do I see myself as an exclusion to one and support of the other, and building a dominant one and a subdominant other? Like I can get away with a little this, I can get away with a little that. You can, like in the movie Chicago, and if you razzle dazzle enough, you can get away with murder. So it's like, what we're doing here is, are we all coming from the same standards and norms? And I'm afraid to say some people get a little bit more love than law, and some people get a little bit more law than love. So as a little video on that, like meditation and contemplative effort, I just wanted to hear what those in my fun little Rosy Cross aspirants group are thinking about these things.